Why are oceans important? They generate 50% of the oxygen we breathe. Oceans absorb 90% of excess heat. They absorb 25% of global carbon dioxide. They regulate our climate. Provides 15% of animal protein we eat. Ocean economy is worth $3 trillion per year. It provides resources for life. 3 billion people survive thanks to the ocean. Raising ocean temperatures. Why? Oceans have absorbed 90% of the heat caused by global warming, by greenhouse gas emissions since 1955. Consequences of raising ocean temperatures. Coral reefs bleached and die. Hot water expands and raises sea levels. Ice sheets are melting. Stronger hurricanes. They lead to changes in the health of animals and marine plants. Why are glaciers melting? Since the Industrial Revolution, human activity produced emissions of carbon dioxide and greenhouse gas, leading to the global warming, which is now melting glaciers and ice sheets. Consequences of ice melt. Melted ice enters the ocean and causes sea levels rise. Oceans are warming. They flood the coastlines and islands. People and animals are losing their home. It disrupts natural ocean circulation. Ocean acidification. Carbonic acid lowers the pH of the ocean so it becomes more acidic. Ocean pH has already dropped from 8.2 to 8.1. By the year 2100, it is estimated to have fallen to 7.8. Consequences. For organisms like corals and oysters, building shells will be harder because of fewer carbonate ions. If pH drops too much, shells will dissolve. It affects the behavior of some animals. For example, it will be more difficult to sense predators. Threat to fisheries. Plastic pollution. Plastic enters the ocean from the land and ships. It is the most common type of marine litter. Plastic waste can be as large as bottles and bags, taking hundreds of years to decompose. Over time, they break down into smaller pieces called microplastics. The amount of plastic has increased since mass production during COVID-19 pandemic. It is estimated that 11 tons of plastic go into the sea every year. Microplastic. Microplastics are tiny pieces of plastic, smaller than 5 millimeters. It is created by the breakdown of larger waste. It is hard to see, but it's present almost everywhere, in water, fish, air, and even our blood. Marine animals confuse microplastics with food, which causes damage to organs and their death. It also threatens humans since it has entered the food chain. Microplastic was found in humans' blood and lungs.
Overfishing. What is overfishing? Overfishing means fish are being caught faster than they can reproduce, hindering their ability to maintain healthy population numbers. Overfishing is a global problem and it's causing fish populations to decline and harm to ocean ecosystems. As demand for seafood continues to grow, it's critical we avoid, reduce, and stop overfishing. What causes overfishing? We are too good at catching fish. Modern fishing gears allow us to harvest massive amounts of fish quickly, and technology has revolutionized today's fishing practices. For example, satellite navigation makes it easier to find fish. Other major drivers of overfishing include a growing global population, increasing demand for seafood, and government subsidies that encourage fishing beyond sustainable levels. What are the impacts of overfishing? 1. Wild fish populations are declining. 2. Large fish are the first to go. 3. Fishing down the food web. 4. Harm to ecosystems. 5. Economic and social costs. Dead zones. What are dead zones? Dead zones are low oxygen or hypoxic areas in the world's oceans and lakes. Because most organisms need oxygen to live, few organisms can survive in hypoxic conditions. That is why these areas are called dead zones. The Gulf of Mexico Dead Zone. The Gulf of Mexico Dead Zone is one of the largest ones in the world. The zone occurs between the inner and mid-continental shelf in the northern Gulf of Mexico, beginning at the Mississippi River Delta and extending westward to the upper Texas coast. Changes in marine life. Changes in ocean temperature can have widespread effects on marine species and biodiversity, with direct and indirect impacts in both. How does climate change impact marine life? 1. The deadly trio. Climate change introduces 3 major stressors to marine environment, collectively termed the deadly trio. 1. Ocean warming. 2. Ocean acidification. 2. Impacts on marine biodiversity and ecosystems. Fish populations. Changing ocean conditions affect fish distribution and abundance, impacting food security and livelihoods dependent on fisheries. Marine mammals. Species like seals and polar bears reliant on sea ice face habitat loss due to melting ice and warming waters. 3. Consequences for human communities. The health of oceans directly influences human well-being. Food security. Declining fish stocks threaten to primary protein source for billions worldwide. Economic impact. Industries such as fisheries and tourism suffer from degraded marine environments. Public health. Ocean warming can lead to harmful algal blooms and bacterial outbreaks, posing risk to human lives. What can be done to save Earth? Limiting greenhouse gas emissions. Urgent need to achieve the Paris Agreement targets to limit global temperature increase to below 2.0 degrees Celsius, above pre-industrial levels. Protecting marine and coastal ecosystems. Well-managed protected areas can conserve ecologically and biologically significant marine habitats and prevent environmental degradation. Establishing coastal setback zones to reduce damage from flooding and erosion. Scientific research. increased investments in research to monitor ocean warming and its impacts, enabling the design of effective mitigation and adaptation strategies. The role of young people during climate change. Young people play a crucial role in addressing climate change and its impact on ocean and seas. They can act as advocates, educators, and change makers, raising awareness, inspiring action, and driving policy changes. Their unique perspectives and engagement, particularly in areas like social media and community outreach, make them powerful voices for climate action.